In 1873, a mission was erected along the banks of the Clark Fork River. Though made of wood and nails, this mission was built on a foundation of compassion and caring. Over 130 years later, this mission has blossomed and flourished with the community that it serves.
Well, St. Pat's is the oldest ministry within Providence, and ever since 1873 has been serving the people of this community. And you can just imagine back in 1873 what it must have been like to be here and what it takes to really make a town stay. And the fact that the community and together with the sisters developed the healthcare here and have continued it over the century is pretty remarkable. And so if you look at what we are and our vision for revealing God's love for all, particularly the poor and the vulnerable, through our compassionate service, which is really our mission. Missoula really is our anchor in that for the entire system. It's what we try to do everywhere.
A lot has changed since the late 1800s. Despite the changes over time, the Sisters of Providence remain true to their founding principles of charity and unity. They are a shining example of how love and kindness can make a positive difference in all of our lives. It is up to each of us to continue to celebrate Montana's local businesses and organizations, whether they have been around for one day or 1 century or more. Today, the award we're giving is actually the 10th oldest registered business in Montana, so it is a pleasure. It's a Centennial Plus award because it has been more than 100 years.
Prior to arriving in the Missoula Valley, the Sisters of Providence left Montreal in June of 1864 and traveled 41 days by rail and ship. 4 of the sisters were then sent on horseback to the St. Ignatius Mission in Montana's Flathead Valley to establish a hospital to serve the indigenous Flathead people.
I recently had an opportunity to do a theological reflection on the history of our service area, specifically St. Pat's, and in that process I had to do a deep dive into really what it meant for the sisters to start. And when you really started looking back at the conditions that they lived in, the work that they had to do, I remember this one phrase where they were we had 19 patients in the hospital. They were teaching 48 kids. 2 sisters were off doing begging tours, and they were only helped by about 6 different people at that time. And the amount of work that they had to do and the dedication that they gave to the people of Western Montana was truly inspiring and, quite frankly, humbling, because in the end, when you really look at what they went through, the trials and tribulations we go through today are really pale in comparison, and it's just a recognition of the huge shoes that we have to fill. And it's a continued reminder that we have a very, very important burden, if you will, to carry on, but it's a burden that we all gladly share.
Sisters of Providence have always worked with the people, listening to their needs, and have tried to respond in whatever way is possible. Collaboration was a familiar concept for the sisters then and now, even from the very beginning of the congregation in 1843, when Mother Emily Gamlin worked with the Ladies of Charity to care for elderly women, the sick, the hungry, prisoners, anyone in need. The foundation of St. Patrick's and other ministries in Montana and elsewhere were no exception. Friends, neighbors, citizens who donated food and furniture, miners who donated funds on payday, each had their part in bringing into fruition the beginnings of much-needed ministries, including this one right here. Even the name of this hospital, as you've heard, came from the people, the area's Irish settlers. As Sisters of Providence, we tell the story that our own name came from the people around us. Our original foundation was as Daughters of Charity, Servants of the Poor, later becoming Sisters of Charity of Providence. And it is the people who have named us the Sisters of Providence. It is the people who call us forth, and it is Providence people who have responded since well before the first Articles of Incorporation. We all, each one of us, stand on the shoulders of giants. Thank you.